How's it going, man?
Good morning, everybody. We're going to get this call started very soon. I want to say welcome to all the influencers for joining us on this Good Morning Leadership call. Super excited to have all of you guys. I want to welcome all of you guys that are getting on right now. We're going to kick off this call in literally about minute to minute and a half. I want to welcome all the people that are true champions getting on this call this morning. If you just got dialed in from the islands of Hawaii, I know it's 5 a.m., super early. Welcome, champions. You guys are absolute amazing for waking up early. For all the people here in the West Coast, I know it's only 8 a.m., but it's such a great time to start with morning leadership. People, Mountain Standard Time, 9 a.m., Central Time, 10 a.m., and for all people on from the East Coast market. So welcome to our Good Morning Leadership call. We're going to kick off this call in about 1 more minute. What you're going to want to do is let's remind our entire team and all the influencers to get on this call. This is going to be an outstanding call with our chairman and founder, Mr. Danny Bay. So we're going to kick off this call in about 1 minute. Let's make sure we remind our influencers, as well as making sure if you're not driving or on your way to work or sneaking on this call, to have your cameras on and get ready to take some notes because we have some incredible information we're going to be sharing with all of you guys this morning. So I want to quickly welcome everybody again. We're going to kick off this call in about 30 seconds. If you just got on from the islands of Hawaii, only 5 a.m. there. Good morning, super early for all champions. Here in the West Coast, it's 8 a.m. So good morning to the West Coast team. For all the people dialing in from Mountain Standard Time, 9 a.m. and Central Texas or Central Time, 10 a.m. and East Coast, 11 a.m. Welcome to our Good Morning Leadership call. We're going to get this call started now. I want to remind everybody to make sure you are in a quiet location. If you're in an area where you can't turn on your camera, let us see your face so we could see how well you're doing. And for all the people that can take some notes, have a journal or a notepad out and a pen, because we're going to be covering some good information, some great nuggets this morning. So what I want to do now, it's midnight here in South Korea. Go to Seoul and help me welcome to our call someone who's leading this organization, who's leading this morning call. We're so grateful. Help me welcome Chairman and Founder, Mr. Danny Bay. Thank you for being on the call, sir.
Hey, what's happening, Mr. Michael on? Hey, it's great to have you in our same time zone, man. Hey, what a champion. I mean, he just flew in. Just think about that. He just flew in yesterday, and, you know, it's midnight, and he's up because he wants to be on U.S. time zone to make amazing things happen. Buenas iPad, good morning. What's happening? I'm going to be looking at some comments here. Louis, good morning, all the way from Las Vegas. Wow. Dear Linda, aloha from Maui. Morning from Michigan. Taylor, what's going on? Good morning from the beautiful state of Texas. Mark, what's happening? Lonnie, aloha. 5 a.m. there. Top of the morning from California, Linda. What's happening? Lonnie, aloha. Linda, yay. Good morning. Arvid, good morning. What's happening? What's happening? Oh my gosh, Mr. Nissim, how you doing? Good seeing you. And LaTroy, how you doing? Good seeing you. Glennis, hello, sir. Good morning. Sevenfold, what's going on? Lewis, what's happening? Chris, how you doing? Charles, good morning. Good morning. Galaxy Note 8, good morning. I had Galaxy Note 8 too. William Love, good morning, sir. Good morning. Richard Dunn, how you doing? Mr. Luke, man, I'm jealous of that, you know, Maui background or wherever that is. Chica, what's happening, man? We had an amazing over 500 people at our Japanese presentation 5 hours ago tonight. The most amount of people we had, over 500 people attending for a GPS Japan presentation tonight with translation of Mr. Kenji Hoffman. Incredible. Big things are about to happen. Mr. Robert Griffin, good seeing you, buddy. Good seeing you. I texted you if you could take a look, or on Kakao. Steve Smith, Mr. Steve Smith, how you doing? Mr. Dan Novels, how you doing? Carl, well, hey, Christina John, what's happening? Wow, I think your hair got shorter. Hey, how you doing? All right, well, hey, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon or good night, wherever you're tuning in from. I appreciate everybody being on. I'm very excited. First of all, I want to tell you, I apologize for yesterday. I was so tired. I told Mr. Michael today, man, I just wasn't myself at my fullest because I was a little beat. I haven't been sleeping much because we have so much going on. As many of you know, we just passed 21,000 influencers. During pandemic, not being able to do any physical presentation. And we just had things open up in Korea where we actually did an event with almost 250 to 300 people last Sunday. And they said, because a couple of things happened over the weekend where, they started spreading again because one of the nightclubs started to open and one super carrier showed up and overnight 16 new positive tested just from that one incident, which stinks because now they're kind of on a lockdown again. So it's crazy world we're living in, man. I mean, more and more every single day I'm reminded that we need everybody to have VR and we need to figure out more ways to do more things on VR because it's just getting crazy up here. And anyways, I appreciate everybody being on. Today I want to spend a little bit of time talking to all of you about a couple things about strategy to build your team. Today, I really want everybody, by end of this call, by end of this Zoom meeting, Good Morning GPS session this morning, I want everybody feeling confident about you becoming Influencer 200K. I want you to feel confident about you becoming Influencer 100K. I want you to leave this meeting this morning feeling confident about you becoming Influencer 10K or 50K or whatever your goal may be. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about living your life by design versus living your life by default. You talk about somebody like Mr. David Nieves, who refused to live his life by the cards that's, dealt to him. 13 years I've known him. I mean, he's been a champion all the way through. He always sets goals. He goes after it. He designs it. He really doesn't care what the circumstance may be. He just goes after it and make it happen. Yesterday I talked to you a little bit about how, I had a dinner last night, with one of the founders who created Baby Shark. I think many of you said you're familiar with Baby Shark. In case you weren't there yesterday, let me ask again, how many of you know Baby Shark? Now, you don't want me singing, so, raise your hand so I don't have to tell. After Despacito, there's still number two, most amount of views on YouTube, but you would think, let me ask you, here's a better question. How many of you heard Baby Shark for the first time this year, 2020? Anybody? Okay. How many of you, 2019, last year, you heard Baby Shark? Last year. Okay. How many of you heard Baby Shark the year before that, 2018? Oh, wow. Okay. Lewis and Taylor, they're like, trendsetters, they heard it before other people. How many of you heard Baby Shark 2017? Okay, I don't see any hands unless I'm missing some pages here. Oh my gosh, Taylor Green saw it even before that. Amazing. I didn't even hear about Baby Shark until I think last year. And the only reason I heard it is because my wife's sister, my sister-in-law, her kids, they're super young, a year and 3-year-old, and they're into Baby Shark and they're playing it all the time. And I didn't even know. I'm from here. I didn't even know he was from Korea, and I didn't hear it until 2019. But I found out last night. Guess what year they created Baby Shark? Anybody want to guess? I mean, oh my gosh, Brandon Armas knows what's up. 2016, when my son was born. There's a trend center right there. You're right. 2016 is when Baby Shark came about. So, we were talking last night and he said it didn't get really famous until 2018. He came out 2016, but it got famous 2018. He was like, do you have any idea how tough those 2 years were? How about the company? Guess how old the company is? You know, how many of you think Baby Shark was their first project? Or how many of you think they had more projects? This is their business card. Isn't that kind of cool? That's pretty cool, right? You know, this company called Ping Pong. Ping Pong is their company name. And, you know, guess what year their company started? Anybody want to guess? The song is stuck in your head again. Sorry, Louis. They actually 2010. So think about that. The company started 2010, and many of us never even heard of it until this year, last year, 2018. Only one person on here, you know, heard of it 2016. You know, so a lot of times that's how it is. You know, but think about how tough 2010 to 2016. How many characters they had to create, how many hardships they had to go through, how many perseverance they had to go through in those 6 years for them to come up with the product, come up with a character like Baby Shark, right? And, you know, they didn't even get famous with that character until 2018. You know, so really, yes, we want to set goals. Yes, we want to design our life. Yes, we want to design, and I want to become influencer 200K, 150K, 100K, 50K, you know, 10K, whatever your goal may be, you know, but after you start and as you start running the journey, you also have to have a balance and understand that you got to persevere and you got to live by what Mr. Jim Rohn said. He said, hey, if you take good enough care of the things that you could control, things you can't control doesn't affect you much. And, you know, live your life by design. And every single day, go after it. Every single day, you know, attack and go after it. And if you could do that and understand what Jim Rohn said, success is nothing more than a set of mindset. Success is nothing more than a set of mindset. You know, which means you got to have end in mind. You got to decide what you want, design the picture, and have that end in mind. And you set your mind on that success. Everything else is going to happen after. You know, I love what Mr. Johnson Maxwell said. Tough makes you tougher. Tough times makes you tough. I love what Jim Rohn said. He said, what don't kill you will make you stronger. That's what his mama told him, you know, when she was feeding him. Just chug it down. If it don't kill you, it'll make you stronger. And I think we could all agree when we go to the gym, tougher it is, you know, tougher you get. You know, you know, one of my favorite things that Mr. Henry Ford, you know, left for us, right? He said, if you think you can, you're right. If you don't think you can, you're right. You know, if you think, you know, it's really up to you. If you think it's easy, you're right. If you think it's hard, you're right. You know, when I heard that when I was 19 years old, I lived by it. I'm like, okay, if I think it's easy, I'm right. If I think it's hard, I'm right. Guess what I started telling myself? Whatever I wanted to design, whatever I wanted to do. If right now, if I want to become influencer 10K, influencer 50K, influencer 100K, who determines if it's going to be hard or easy? The task itself or you? You know, that's what we have to understand. Jim Rohn said, if your why is strong enough, how to usually becomes easy. But if your why isn't strong enough, how to usually becomes too difficult, right? You know, something as easy as, I mean, if you're just sitting on your couch, in the living room, and let's just say refrigerator is only 5 steps away, you know, your little brother or little sister that who you're mad at right now tells you and say, hey, bro, sister, can you go to the refrigerator and grab me a bottle of water? How hard is that? How hard is it to get up off the couch and take 5 steps and go to the refrigerator and grab a bottle of water for your little brother or little sister that you're mad at? Oh, it's extremely hard. You ain't gonna do it. You're not gonna get up. You're not gonna take 5 steps, right? But how about someone that you care and you love and you want to impress and you wanna do nice things to? You know, or maybe before you're married, when you're single, and maybe you're favorite person that you want to earn some brownie points from, and you want to spend time with that person, or your favorite actor or favorite actress. What if they live 4 hours away, 4 hours away, you know, or 2 hours away, and they call you 1 a.m. in the morning, and they said, hey, I'm moving. I have to move last minute, 3 a.m. in the morning, 2 hours from now, I got to move. Can you come over and help? How many of you would have no problem getting out of your bed, getting off the couch, get in the car, drive 2 hours across the city or go to a different city to go help them move in the middle of the night for someone you care and you love and you want to impress and you want to look good in front of? Of course you would, because you want to. So the task itself doesn't determine if it's difficult or easy. The task never does. It's your perception and your reason for doing it. And once you understand that what Henry Ford said is correct. If you think you can, you're right. If you don't think you can, you're right. If you think it's easy, you're right. If you think it's hard, you're right. It's 100% up to you. So as we go out there and put our plan together and design our influencer 200K, 100K, 10K, whatever position you want to become, and you want to set those goals, and as you start working, here's the key. You got to make sure that you're building your organization solid. And today I want to spend next 15 minutes talking to you about building your organization, building your GPS, building your team to be so powerful that it will help you to achieve your dreams and goals with GPS. So first thing I want to talk to you about is a 48-hour game plan. 48-hour game plan. It is so important, in my opinion, with GPS compensation plan that you master 48-hour game plan. What is 48-hour game plan? 48-hour game plan is you got to, I'm going to come back to this, okay? 48-hour game plan is you identify a momentum driver. You identifying one person that you want to focus and work with to drive momentum. And I'm going to be talking more about that in a minute. So let's just say I have a person named David, and I find a person named David to be part of the team. And I just know that David's going to do good, not because of his background, not because of anything. And usually you could tell by their attitude, their energy level, with their, hey, are they the type of people they say they're going to do something and they follow through or not? I test all the time. If I tell them, hey, let's do something tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I mean, if they do it tomorrow, to do that at tomorrow at 5 o'clock, man, I know they're good. I say, hey, call me at 3 o'clock. If they call me at 3 o'clock, man, I know they're paying attention to detail. I know they're disciplined. I know they're going to go out there and make things happen. I said, hey, we got an event tomorrow. Hey, why don't we have you bring 3 people on that call tomorrow at the Zoom presentation tomorrow? Hey, by the way, hey, Mr. Rob Griffin, is your presentation with Mr. Dell tonight? Is it tonight? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't mean to do a little commercial here, but you're not gonna want to miss the presentation on Zoom tonight. Do you understand? We have Mr. Robert Griffin, which is an incredible friend, incredible leader. His background is he was an undercover detective. He was an undercover detective in Las Vegas. And he had a great career serving the community and got involved in direct sales and became an entrepreneur. Has been a great friend and family friend for a long time, and has experienced him and his wife building in America, but also building in Japan. You talk about someone powerful and that's got the right mindset, and when they make commitment, they follow through like nobody else. When our previous company, when we were launching Japan, Chika, our wife Chika was committed to going to Japan, and she was going to Japan, and she and right at that time, they found out that Rob Griffin found to have cancer, skin cancer, and I mean, it was. Can you imagine how devastating that would be? You waited years for expansion to happen. You talk to all these people, and boom, you go out there and you find out your husband has skin cancer. I mean, what would you do? And here's why they're an incredible champion. I mean, he had a mindset that, he knew he was going to recover. He was like, no, I'm fine. I mean, I'm sure it was very tough, and I want to hear more stories from him later on, and I can't wait for you guys to get more trainings from him because he'll tell you the whole story. But he's like, nope, Chika, I got it. We're fine. We're going to fight this. We're going to be healthy again. We're going to recover. You're over there in Japan. I want you to, focus there and get your team started. That's for the future for our family. I mean, he made a commitment. He made her stay. He made her do so. I mean, to me, that's like, I mean, how many people would do that? How many people would make that type of a commitment? Here's a question. That type of a commitment, right? That type of a commitment, is that a skill thing or is that an attitude thing? You know, is that a skill thing or is that just a decision thing, right? You know, so if you really think about it, it's just someone making a decision, tough decision, someone having a mindset and an attitude to make those decisions. Very tough, very challenging. So, you know, it's not a skill thing. It's not a talent thing. It's not what you have or what you don't have thing. You know, it really is attitude and decision-making thing. And because they did, that's why they're who they are. That's why I have so much respect for them. That's why I have so much love for them. But anyways, tonight, presentation is going to be done, combination of Mr. Robert Griffin, one of the most strongest mind entrepreneur that I know, who also is probably one of the most virtual reality expert person I know. Currently right now, he serves as a vice president of a virtual reality company out in Dallas, Texas. I mean, he does presentations talking about virtual reality technology in front of military groups, in front of police force, and in front of government organizations, because he understands the value of virtual reality education and virtual reality technology more than probably majority of people around the world. And him as a vice president of a virtual reality company right now out of Dallas, Texas, he's going to be doing the presentation tonight, not just by himself, but with a gentleman that I had tremendous amount of respect for, a gentleman named Mr. Dale Williams. Now, Mr. Dale Williams, I mean, some of you have been hearing him at some of these Zoom meetings, but let me tell you, I mean, tonight, if I were you, I will be telling everybody, here's what I will be telling. Everybody I know, I'll be telling everybody and their mama. So I'll be telling everybody and their mama and their papa and their grandma and their grandpa and their kids and their cousins and all their friends and even strangers to get on Zoom call tonight, because Mr. Dale Williams has more experience. I mean, think about this. He's been an entrepreneur over 50 years, and he spent his first 7 years as an entrepreneur was last 7 years of Mr. Napoleon Hill's. He got to spend last 7 years of Mr. Napoleon Hill. You know Mr. Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich, the person that literally created, the personal development culture in our country. Just think about that. You know, many of you know that his first task that Andrew Carnegie have given him, the first task was to interview 100 wealthiest people in America at the time and write a book about it, write a report about it. And many of you guys, 500, sorry, Richard, yes. And what's amazing is, back in the day, the people he interviewed were people like, I mean, Henry Ford. I mean, I had to read what he said about, hey, if you think you can, you're right. I had to read it. No, he heard it from Mr. Ford himself. He probably is the one who wrote it. He's the one probably who documented it. I mean, he talked to Thomas Edison himself. Look around, you see light bulbs? Yeah, you know, the dude that has something to do with that? Like Napoleon, he'll talk to him. So imagine being in the presence of hundreds of the most powerful, successful, greatest minds of that time, and person who absorbed all their knowledge and experiences, stories. And Mr. Dale Williams got to spend his last 7 years of Mr. Napoleon Hill. His last 7 years, Mr. Dan got to spend time with him and learn from him and be mentored by him and travel with him and even speak with him in occasions. And he's going to be doing the presentation tonight with Mr. Robert Griffin. I am so excited about that Zoom presentation tonight that, you know, I know that myself obviously is going to be on. I am so excited. If I were you, like I said, no, I forgot one earlier. So make sure you get everybody and their mama and their papa and all their family and friends and anybody they know, but also, you know, if they have pet, you know, if they have animals, I'll tell everybody. I mean, everybody should be watching the presentation tonight. because it's going to be incredible. Yeah. So anyway, so tonight you don't want to miss, but let's go back to what we're talking about. So you want to make sure that you find, if I just introduce David to the business, and if I know he's going to be good, I'm going to put him on a 48-hour game plan, 48-hour game plan. And I'm going to tell David, I said, David, in the next 48 hours, you're going to go into system. And as you go into system, I touched up on this last week. As you go into system the next 48 hours, I want to build a team. I want to build a team that's going to give you the support, that's going to help you to excel your business in a big way. So I'm going to tell David, now the support team that I'm going to try to find next 48 hours, I want them to, place, because our culture is every person that starts in our business, that you go out there and recruit, and you go out there and enroll and introduce the opportunity to minimum of 2, but most likely what we're training everybody to do is recommend and enroll at least 4 people to the business. And you want to get first person, second person, third person, fourth person. You don't want to do 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't want to do 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And what we're telling in 48 hours is like me telling David, hey, we're going to go in and I'm going to build a supporting team. We're going to build a team with you. And I want you to get your team started. I want you to get your team prepared so we could all go in together in 40 hours. Now, you don't do that with everybody. You do that with momentum driver. And when you find one momentum driver, you want to recruit up and down and have 5 to 10 people go into system together to create a brand new team with story. That's what 48-hour game plan does. So I wish we were all together in a workshop with a whiteboard and I could draw everything out for you. Here's 2 things that I want all of you to really get familiar with within GPS system. 48-hour game plan and 12-week marathon. It's a 12-week marathon for people to run towards Influencer 5,000, 10,000, or whatever position they want to become. But I say that goal, everybody should be minimum of Influencer 5,000. I love the position of Influencer 5,000. Why? Because it puts $5,000 monthly influencer level bonus into their hands. And so at the minimum, at the bare minimum, not talking about all the other bonuses, they're going to make $5,000 a month in residual bonus just for becoming Influencer 5,000. Now, to me, it's not that hard to do. Once again, what I'm reinforcing now, does it take work? Yes. Does it take time? Yes. Does it take a lot of effort? Yes. But the reason I say it's not hard to do is because you could get one Pico customer. I know, I already see it in your eyes. Don't look at me like this. Some of you mad at me like you're like, dude, I want that in my house. I'm sorry you don't have it, but we're going to be, it's coming soon. As soon as we start rolling out. Some of you are like, man, can I just get mine first? Well, the thing is, as soon as we start shipping these, as soon as you start getting them in, our influencers start getting, what's going to happen is everybody's going to want to, learn more about the technology. Half of the calls you get throughout the day is going to be, how do you turn it on? How do you turn it off? How do you connect to Wi-Fi? How do you log into Pico account? How do you log into VRLU? And, while you're building your initial foundation, you don't want to have anything slow you down and bog you down and slow down your productivity. So we're really excited about it. But anyways, so literally if you got just one customer, they could be an influencer customer, but one customer gets a VR headset and they are on a VRLU subscription, that's 500 BV, that's 500 IV. What that simply means in your working length that you're working, for you to become an Influencer 5,000, even if they're all brand new customers, not even talking about future products, not even talking about accumulating subscribers of VRLU, just brand new, even within the month, if I could just get 100 customers, not by myself, me and my team, 100 customers, 500 BVIV times 100, that's 50,000, boom. You already have 5,000 plus, boom, 50,000, boom. That's going to put you at Influencer 5,000. So to me, it's very possible because daily, all you have to do is get 3 or 4 customers to go out there and get a Pico and VRLU daily. And when this thing explodes, I'm telling you, you're not going to be having 3 customers a day join your team. You're not going to have 4 customers a day buy this product from you. You're going to be having 10, 20, 50, 100 as you start building the team. But how do you do that is by creating 48-hour game plan culture and 12-week marathon culture. So in 12-week, you want everybody running. If somebody says, man, I got a lot going on, I'm going to tell them, hey, if you got a lot going on, kind of reprioritize and reschedule so you could do it week 13. Because your first 12 weeks, you're going to be earning extra 30% on group influencer marketing commission. And also, if you go out there and build a team, you're also going to earn extra 30% on leadership matching for the people that you enroll into the system, your first generation. So, it's very important for people to start first 12 weeks. And I'm excited about this pre-launch that we've been doing for 2 weeks. Why? Because pre-launch does not count as one of those 12 weeks. So as an example, if we have 4 weeks of pre-launch, and if somebody's getting started right now and 2 weeks into it, that means we still have another 2 weeks of pre-launch plus 12 weeks. So they literally have 14 weeks or 16 weeks to take advantage of the 30% extra compensation Fast Influencer Promotion bonus for really being a pioneer and getting started in the beginning. So remember those two things. 48-hour game plan. What is 48-hour game plan? You want to find a momentum driver, and you want to leverage, you want to recruit to leverage. Remember, RNL, recruit to leverage. And as soon as David's ready to go, and we tell him in a couple of days, you want to go back to your chicken list, you want to go back to people maybe list, you want to go back to your green apple list that we talked about at the system training last Saturday. You want to go back to them and talk about what's about to happen here and see if you could leverage to go out there and get more people on your team. And after that, you want to get them to place their very first recruit into that power leg. So because of it, you tell David, hey, let's get a couple guys ready in your team before when you're going in. That way, when you have the supporting team actually place some people, their first recruit in that team, your friends could also benefit from the team. So to me, if I got David as a recruit, I'm going to recruit a few people up. I'm going to recruit a few people down. And by the time he goes in, we literally have 5 or 10 people going in the system. That's 48-hour game plan. That's creating momentum overnight. That is a momentum driver activity. Now, you don't do that with everybody, but you do that with somebody that you feel good about driving to create brand new momentum. Now, by doing that, and you're looking for momentum creators, I'm always looking for who's going to be my 48-hour game plan project. Who's going to be my 48-hour game plan project? And as I do that and you dig, you find the right people. And like if I got David started, people that are getting started above and underneath, I'm going to tell everybody, let's get on a 12-week marathon. You choose. You want to be influencer 5,000 or influencer 10,000 or influencer 25,000. You choose. Let them choose what they want, but you put them on a 12-week marathon. What that means is 12-week, hey, we're going to focus. We're not going to slow down. First 12 weeks, let's do this thing right. Because you could earn extra 30% in group influencer marketing and leadership matching. Let's focus and create the best story first 12 weeks. Because I tell them, you only have one chance and one opportunity to create your first 12-week story. And you want to have the best first 12-week story. So make sure that you get that done, and it's going to be good. Okay, so 48-hour game plan, 12-week marathon. It's going to be very, very important. Now, I said it yesterday, I said it last week, I'm going to say it again because it's all new, and I want you to be familiar, and that's why I keep repeating myself. And that is, and if you're taking notes, you might want to write this down. Nobody else determines the speed and the size of your momentum, okay? You determine the speed and the size of your momentum. By what? How do you determine the speed and the size of your momentum, your group momentum? Let me tell you how. How you do it is by you designing the speed and the size of your power leg. What I mean by that is you driving a 48-hour game plan, 12-week marathon into the power leg to create momentum up and down, and 48-hour boom, 5 to 10 people going in the system. By you driving the momentum, by you driving the power leg of everybody, you could determine the speed and the size of your organization. Here's the truth. bigger the power leg is, faster the power leg moves, bigger and faster with lesser leg, your weaker leg is going to move. Because remember, every person that you want to create a culture in your team, the very first recruit goes to the power leg. Second recruit goes to the other leg. Third recruit goes to the power leg. Fourth recruit goes to the other leg. And after that, fifth recruit and on, they could put it wherever they feel need to within their organization. But their first one goes into the power leg. Second one goes into the weaker leg. Third one goes to the power leg. Fourth one goes into the weak leg. And if you could create that culture where everybody follows that system, everybody will have their power leg continue to build. And as that continues to build, and as it gets bigger and it grows faster, remember, power leg speed and size could determine the size and the speed of your lesser leg growing. Does that make sense? So remember, now what is a power leg? How do you create power leg? You got to have the right language. You want to make sure you're using the right language. Here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to say that, hey, Alicia, here's the deal. You join, I'm going to build your power leg. You don't have to do anything there. Just go out and build one. I got you one leg. You just got to build one and you're good. You don't want to do that. I've talked about that last week on Friday on Good Morning GPS. I'm reminding you because I really, really, really want to make sure that everybody gets what I'm talking about. With that language, you're going to lose. With that language, you're going to either have them disappointed or you're going to have them always be looking for you to build their other leg. Okay, you want to have a language of you tell them, hey, Alyssa, here's the deal. Everybody, obviously, we got so many people we're going to be introducing you to the opportunity. We got so many influencers to share this opportunity to. However, your first four, here's the order we're going to do. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, what we just talked about. And the reason for that is because you teach that the speed and the size of the power leg that we build together will always determine the speed and the size of your lesser leg. So you want to keep that message consistent and you want to continue to recruit and leverage. You want to create and drive the power leg. And if we do that, I'm telling you folks, you're going to have tremendous organization be built of influencers in a major way. I'm just looking right now. I got so many questions here. I just want to make sure that I get them through. I just have a hard time looking at them when I'm talking. Okay. All right. Somebody says, I'm glad you're my first, sir, Charles. Okay. Cool. Charles, congratulations. All right. I am super thrilled, excited about, okay, got it. All right, DJ, you sent email to Katie. I'll follow up with Katie about some questions. You're super excited and thrilled. I am excited and thrilled for you too. That's amazing. Okay, I did not know that. I don't know which one you were talking about, but whatever that was, I'm glad you know now. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. All right, I've known, okay, all right, perfect. All right. Beautiful. Okay. All right. Before we wrap up, I want to talk to you a little bit about creating culture. You know, I want to talk to you a little bit about creating culture, using the right language. You know, because here's a question. Hey, what kind of group do you want to have? That's a good question. What kind of group do you want to have? You know, what do you want? You know, who do you want in your team? What type of people do you want in your team? Can you think about it? Who would like to have show up in your team? Someone that thinks small or someone that thinks big? Oh, I think Richard said Danny Bay. I can't even hear you, but I read your lips, man. I'm getting new skill up in here. I apologize. Hey, who do you want to have show up in your team? I want Mike Lyon, you know. I want Mark Isaac, you know. I want David Nieves. I want Richard. You know, I want you. I mean, you guys. I mean, 8 a.m., 5 a.m., 11 a.m., 10 a.m. You're here. Are you kidding me? You know, there's nobody in the country right now more motivated than, you know, people on this call right now. I'm pumped up. You know, so what kind of group do you want? You know, when you close your eyes and think about what is my group going to look like year 2022? What is your group going to look like year 2025? Can I tell you something? Year 2010, I came out to Korea for the first time, you know, to actually work. And when I came out here, we had nothing, you know, company wasn't set up. We had nothing. I mean, we had nobody here, no leader here. I left the country when I was, 7th grade. I didn't know anybody. But, here's all I knew. I just knew I was going to build a big organization. I was going to build a big success here. That's all I knew. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anything. But I just knew we were going to do something big. And I remember a few months into it, we had a lot of crap happen. I mean, we had 3,500 people. I've literally physically met myself personally. I physically met over 16,000 people in 2 weeks, and literally taking email reservation, doing 4 big presentations, 11, 2, 5, 8, and in between doing 3-on-1, 5-on-1, 10-on-1, on top of doing a 200 people presentation, 11, 2, 5, 8. And 11 o'clock, I'm telling them to bring them to 2 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, I'm telling them to bring people at 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, I'm telling them to bring people at 8 o'clock. And I personally, before they could sign up, I personally literally said I will do 7 days of 4 presentations a day, and anybody that's big time, that's planning to go to the top, they could book a one-on-one meeting with me. And by doing that for 7 days, I had over 2,800 confirmed on people that was coming. And literally we utilized that, and we did it again the following week, and we pretty much told everybody to bring more people and more people. And by doing that, I literally in groups and individually combined was in front of 16,000 people in a couple of weeks of time. And because of it, we had over 8,000 people we were able to recruit when the company didn't have product ready, when the company didn't have any material ready, when company didn't have anything ready at all. And their training, I mean, there was just nothing. And they said in the future, we may go into telecom and different industries, but there was nothing. There was nothing ready. They didn't even know what the exact product was going to be, but they just knew. I just knew. It didn't matter what it was, we were going to make it successful. But let me tell you something. By doing that and having 3,500 people come to an opening event, literally 2 months later, 3,500 people come to an opening event before they could sign up. Now think about this. And all the things that company said they would do, none of that happened. Because, I wasn't in charge of those things. They said they will have this product, they will have this product. None of it was ready. It was supposed to be telecom, but they ended up selling $1,250 vitamin pack. And, and it didn't matter. Like, I didn't like the situation. People didn't like the situation, but let me tell you something. Here's one thing I knew. Here's what I'm trying to tell you. I didn't know. I obviously was tough. Obviously was not good with what the company did with launch of Korea at the time. However, still in the midst of all that, here's what I knew. I knew that we would still have, if you ask me, Danny, what's your group going to look like? The same question I just asked you. What is your group going to look like 2 to 5 years from now? And if you ask me, you know what I would have said? I would have said we will have 10,000 people convention, and we will be doing over $100 million a year in this country. Now think about that. Think about that. Like, people were expecting cell phone service to launch, and company decided to launch $1,250 vitamin pack and not have any telecom product. But in the midst of all that, it didn't waver even a 0.01% of me of thinking in next 2 to 5 years, I'll have 10,000 people, convention of my own, and have over $100 million in business. Why? Because that was decided, that was designed, that was determined, that was just the way it was going to be. That was already designed long before anything else was going to come into play. So tonight or this morning for you, I'm asking you, what kind of group do you want to have? When you talk about what my group is going to look like end of this coronavirus health crisis, when things open up in your city, when you're allowed to do a hotel event, when you're allowed to do a big old presentation or training event in your city or in your state or in your marketplace, your very first meeting when things open up, and hopefully in 30 days, hopefully in 90 days, maybe in 6 months, how many people are going to be ready to fly over to your presentation and your training? I'm telling you, don't let it happen by default. You decide. If you just go through a month, if you just go through 6 months, I hate to break it to you, results may not be what you want. But if you design it now, you can make whatever you want to happen and become a reality in your life, in your business. So what do you want your group to look like? Who do you want to have in your team? And you decide. Now, I don't prejudge, but I pre-design. When I say I don't prejudge, I don't care if they're 18 years old. I don't care if they're 88 years old. I don't care if they've never done network marketing. I don't care if they've done 25 network marketing companies. I don't care if they got $10 million in the bank. I don't care if they got $10 in their bank, or if they got they have negative below 10,000, negative 10,000 on negative balance on your bank account. None of that matters to me. I don't care if they speak good English. I don't care if they don't even speak English. I don't care if they know a lot of people. I don't care if they don't know a lot of people. None of that matters, and we don't prejudge. But I pre-design. Who do I want in my team? Who do I want to show up in my team? Do you know who? Someone that's motivated, someone that's hungry, someone that's big thinker, someone that will go after it and make it happen no matter what. Someone that says what Mr. Lee says all the time. Mr. Lee, magic of thinking big. That's right. Magic of thinking big. That's right. You know, just like Mr. Lee. You know why Mr. Lee was my #1 person in my team in 2006? He didn't even speak English, and he put in over 16,000 customers in 6 months of time in a market where we didn't have any Korean support, any Korean customer service, Korean representative support, no Korean material, no Korean website, none of it. Toughest time. But he still built it, not speaking the language, only dealing with people that spoke with no English. In 6 months, they put in 16,000 customers and made tremendous amount of money in those 6 months of time. Do you know why? You know what his nickname is? His nickname is Mr. No Problem. Because whatever you say to him, he says no problem. Whatever problem you tell him, he says no problem. Even when I think it's a problem, I tell him and he says no problem. So because he's always Mr. No Problem, guess what? He's got no problem. It doesn't matter what happens, it's no problem. Anytime somebody says no, it's no problem. When somebody says yes, it's no problem. When somebody he counted on doing well quits, it's still no problem. And because of it, he's always been. So who do you want to have show up in your team? Someone that looks at all the circumstances and they always look for reasons to make excuses or blame or say, hey, if I had this, I'll do better. I wish I had this. Well, you don't know about this. How many of you guys ever hear that? You don't know how hard this is. You don't know what's happening you don't know what's happening with my corona. You don't know what's happening with this. You don't know what's happening in my town. You don't know what my family's like. You don't know what I'm going through right now. You know, those people never make it. So how many of you don't want that type of conversation to be the main conversations that happens in your GPS building time every day? None of us want that. How many of you want your conversation to be, hey, you know what? How can you right now, it's 11 o'clock. Right now, it's 8 o'clock. Okay, how many people can we get on a Zoom call at 10 a.m.? Okay, well, all right, we got an 8 p.m. presentation. We got 5 p.m. presentation. Hey, how can we do 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock to build up, tee up, and get them prepared to get on the 8 o'clock tonight? Hey, what are we going to do right after the 8 o'clock presentation tonight? How can we follow up and make sure they enroll right away? Should we set up a follow-up call at 8:30? Hey, who should we have speak for our team on the follow-up call? Hi, how can we, who's going to be the luckiest person in my team that I'm going to want to focus on creating a 48-hour game plan story with? You know, those are the conversations you want to have, right? You know, you want to have someone that you talk to right now this morning, and by tonight presentation happened, they already have gone through second and third layer of network, and they have 5, 10, 20 people watching the Zoom presentation tonight with Mr. Rob Griffin and Mr. Dale Williams together tonight. That's who you want in your team. True or not true? You want someone to show up and go, hey, Mike Lonnie's the man here. He's the top dog here. Just let Mike Lon know I'm coming for him. Hey, I don't care how big he gets. Just let him know I'll be bigger than him. I don't care how much David Nieves makes. Just let him know I'm going to pass him up. You know, that's who you're looking for. Sure. How many of you want to have 5 of those guys that show up in your team? Yeah, you want 5 because 4 of those guys are full of crap. They won't even show up next week. But at least one will, maybe will follow through. So that's who you want. You want someone says, hey, you know what? I don't care what anybody says. I know what I want. I'm going to go after it. That's who you want. True or not true? You don't want somebody that hears negative messages and they get all caught up and bogged down and they go home depressed and, and cry. And I mean, hey, that's what other people's opinion, does that change of how good or bad your opportunities? Of course not. Their opinion has nothing to do with what you do. So, you want people that are mentally strong. You want people that are emotionally strong. You want people that think big. You know why people complain? Because they think so small. You know why people make excuses? Because they think too small. You know why people lazy? Because they think too small. Just like Richard was showing up the cover of the book earlier, it's magic of thinking big. When you think big, all of that stuff goes away. The most laziest person on the planet, when they start thinking big, guess what? They will be the hardest working person in your team. Most negative person on the planet, soon as they start thinking big, guess what? They'll be the most positive person in your team. Person that's most rude in your team, soon as they start thinking big, they may become the nicest person in your team. Person that knew nobody starts thinking big, now they have everybody in the world to talk to. So that's who you want. So what am I talking about? You have to create a culture. You have to create a culture for your team, your group of influencers, in your organization. You get to decide who shows up in your team. Why? Because listen carefully to what I'm saying. We don't prejudge, we just pre-design. And it doesn't matter how they work. If you have the right environment that will show up and start behaving and start acting towards how you want them to be. Does that make sense to you? So we don't prejudge, but we pre-design. So tonight or this morning or this afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from, in closing, think about who do you want? How big do you want your team to be? How fast do you want your team to be? Is your goal 90 days, become influencer 10K? I love it, Richard. That's it. 90 days, 12 weeks. Let's go 10K. I'm going to be watching the report, Mr. Richard Dunn. We're going to be looking at the report. We're going to make sure you hit 10K. We'll be cheering for you. I mean, Mr. Mike Lonnie is going like this right now because he's like, woo, woo, we're going to get Richard Dunn to influencer 10K. That's who you want. And that's the environment you want to create. Remember, if your environment caters to losers. Now, I'm not calling anybody losers. I'm calling people that wants to think small, that wants to be negative, that wants to complain, that wants to always look for reasons why they cannot move. If you create the environment to make them feel okay to not move and not be productive, you're gonna lose all the winners in your team. But if you cater to winners, you lose the losers by either them leaving or them changing to become a winner. If you create a clean environment, you don't have a choice but to either not be there or get yourself clean. If you create a dirty environment, you're either going to attract dirty people or you're going to turn clean people dirty or get them to leave. I mean, it's just common sense. So you decide. I want you to start designing your organization. I want you to design the culture and the speed and the size and thinking and behavior and attitude and the language of your organization. When I first joined this industry, I had to learn a new language. When I first got involved in leadership level, I had to learn a new language. That's all this is. Learn new language, create the culture, and create the positive environment that you want to attract the people you want in your team. So I appreciate everybody being on. We only have 2 more days left of this Good Morning GPS. Time is flying. It's already middle of May. It's May 13th there. It's May 14th here. We literally have only a couple weeks left. I know we're already 2 weeks into pre-launch. Ask yourself, how many people do you want to have in your team when we launch? When we say, all right, here's our start date, all of us start with new start date. Our 12-week marathon starts today. When that happens, Are you gonna run? Are you gonna run by yourself? Are you gonna run with 10 people in your team? Are you gonna run with 100 people in your team? Are you gonna run with 1,000 people in your team? Are you gonna run with 10,000 people in your team? You decide, nobody else. Yes, your team and leaders may place some people in your team, but don't wait for that. Don't count on that. Let that happen. Trust me. Things will come, but you gotta drive. I've always said, hey, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. I'm gonna drive, I'm gonna create, I'm gonna develop, I'm gonna do it. And more I do, more things happen for me. Less I do and the more I wait, nothing happens for me. I'm telling you folks, every single one of you have what it takes to win at GPS. You can make it happen. You could decide to go out there and design your life next 12 weeks, next 48 hours, next 2 weeks of the rest of this pre-launch season for you to have the greatest start of your GPS launch in a big, big, big way. All right, so let's focus tonight. We still have several hours before the presentation. I want to encourage you to contact your friends, contact your family, contact your contacts, because tonight's presentation is gonna be like a presentation we haven't had since this pre-launch began. And I truly believe every single one of you could have hundreds of people, if not thousands of people in your team before the official launch happens, just during pre-launch alone. Utilize presentation tonight, make it happen. I appreciate you, Mr. Mike Lan, for being on this midnight call for us while you're in Korea. Appreciate everybody. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tonight with Mr. Rob Griffin and Mr. Del Williams, and I'll see you again tomorrow morning. Del, on Good Morning GPS, second to the last one tomorrow morning. All right, have a great day, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Michael Lan. Thank you, everybody.
Super.
Thank you, Danny. Great job like always.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Danny Bay.
Thank you.
Sir, thank you.
Great leader.
Is
Great
that
leader.
Mr. Carlos?
God bless.
I think that voice was Mr.
Thanks,
Carlos.
Danny.
Thank you,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Danny Bay.
Hey, hey.
So hyped up.
Thank you, Danny Bay.
Thank you, thank you. Yo, Steve Yun. Wow, my son, all the way from Japan. Welcome. I love it. I love it.
Thank you, Danny Bay. Thank you.
Is that Carla? I don't see you.
No, it's Jerry Stewart.
Oh, hey, Miss Jerry, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Thank you. You're amazing.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Bay.
Come sum it up from Orlando.
Orlando, wow, thank you.
Yeah, I'm in the dialysis clinic, but I'm listening on my phone.
Wow.
Thank you, Bay.
Have a great day, everybody. Tonight's a big deal, big event tonight. Mr. Del Williams in the house, Mr. Rob Griffin in the house.
Hello, Danny.
Thank you, thank you.
Tonight will be the best night ever.
$500 at the market, let you choose Diamond and Rough to reinvent showing your design style. Some people